All right, good evening, guys. Welcome to Beacon of Leadership podcast here. Tonight we are honoring Gary Gradley and his new course he's coming up, and he has a new seminar coming up on Saturday. So let's introduce Gary. Welcome, Gary. Tell us about yourself and what you have to offer us.
Yeah, thanks, Curtis, and RJ, who's not here with us tonight, but Beacon of Leadership, you guys are doing great. I'm loving what you're doing, and I also see a lot of the growth that you guys are experiencing. And what I love most is your commitment to serve with high quality, with a high level. And you both have your own services you're providing as well. That's making a big difference. And that's really what my goal is to make a big difference. And in terms of helping people discover their purpose and be high performing and have an impact in the world, especially if people, and I'm curious if anybody watching here now is possibly, because the world is in a pretty interesting place, isn't it? Yeah.
If anyone, yeah, for sure, Gary.
Yeah, like totally. If anyone's maybe feeling a little insecure or uncertain about their future, which is totally understandable, and if we're not sure exactly how we're going to get there, maybe we're feeling stuck, or that we have a business or we have a job and a career, and we don't clearly see the career path for advancement. So we can feel stuck in these different ways, and I'm believing that there's answers to these things, which you have a lot of influence and control over yourself, right? We actually create our own reality by our choices and our attitudes and our actions. I had my own corporate training business for 22 years, self-employed, worked with 20,000 to 22,000 people really over that period of time. And I learned lots of lessons, went through 3 recessions. The biggest lesson I learned out of all that, self-employed, single income earner, was that I had to maximize, like literally every day, I had to maximize my attitude, right? In terms of focus, positive, expecting, not the opposite. And I had to maximize my activity level, so maximum, sales activity, contacting, following up, writing proposals, and so on in this corporate training business. So the same is true right now. In fact, I'm going to start with a short story because this is really, really relevant. If people are feeling that way, or maybe you're doing great, like maybe you're inspired and you're focused and you're confident and you're feeling on purpose, that's amazing. And so you're making
comments or anything below in the YouTube, perhaps, if they're feeling great or inspired.
Yeah.
What do you think, Gary?
Yeah, perfect. Sure. Yeah, let's give us some feedback. Where are you at in terms of positive or feeling negatively challenged or etc. Yeah, and what are you focused on?
I'm always trying to be focused on the positive myself, because if you have one thought and just good things come when you always think positively. That's how I look at it. What do you think, Gary?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had the privilege of working with Bob Proctor,
oh wow, awesome.
World renowned, and this was like about 30 years ago, but I worked with him for 5 years.
That's amazing.
And what I learned a lot from him. A lot of it was just the power of our thinking, right, and our self-talk. And clearly we know to stay focused and positive. We know that intellectually, we know that. The challenge is always to what degree do we actually do it, right? And to what degree are we actually aware of what we're thinking?
For sure. It's also kind of like a habit. It becomes a habit, right?
Yeah.
People don't have a habit of thinking positively. You always think, oh, this is horrible, blah, blah, blah. But if you have positive attitude and positive habits, you're like, hey, this is going to work out. Good's going to happen. You always look for the best in everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I want to share a bit about my story, because I had a profound epiphany learning experience, which I'll never forget. And I as we're just talking here, in the last recession, 2009, the Great Recession, where companies usually spend $0 on trainers and speakers, and we were a trainer for corporations. And so I'm literally working extremely hard for an entire year, and I have zero income, a single family income earner. I rack up $50,000 in credit card debt. Ouch. And I'm in fear. I'm feeling hopeless for maybe the first time in my life. bad place to be. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, right? Because it was how I was thinking, right? I was stinking thinking. It was stinking thinking, totally, 100%. And then one morning, I remember it clearly, February 2009, a bleak, cold winter morning. I'm sitting in my side office over here, and because I was just like depressed and in total fear and financial distress. And that morning, I decided, I said to myself, yeah, I'm sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, and I'm never going to choose to feel hopeless ever again. And then the light bulb went off. I had an epiphany. Well, yes, Gary, it's just a choice. You could choose to feel hopeless and think hopeless, or you can choose to feel hope. So I decided in that moment I would never choose hopelessness ever again, never. And so that's kind of an example, right? What we were just talking about. I mean, we know it, but do we do it? And then that was a powerful decision for me to actually do it. A decision, a belief. Yeah.
Like a knowingness to get her done, right? Kind of.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what happened next, which is kind of why I'm here right now today, actually, literally, is let me see. So my heart was, so I met with a friend. He knows me quite well, and he knew I had zero income for a year. And he says, Gary, you ought to transfer your skill set into a different industry, or something's happening, like maybe being a fundraiser for a worthy charity. And immediately the idea resonated in my heart. I actually fell in love with this idea, and I didn't even know anything about it. But my heart, right? And so I tend to follow my heart. The other thing that happened when I followed my heart out of that recession, personally, and great recession, was I actually wrote a book because I felt I should talk to a number of successful people, like business leaders, community leaders, church leaders. And so let me explain the title in a second. And so what happened, I talked to all these great people, and what I saw was that in their major life crisis, that life and God, the universe, the creator, actually provided for their needs. They went through major life challenges like a bankruptcy or a loss of a loved one, or a serious illness like cancer, or major things like this, and they got through it. God and the universe provided for them. And so I collected all these stories, and then I felt inspired to put these stories together in a book so other people could benefit from it. Because what it did for me, literally, I'm here $50,000 in credit card debt. I still have basically zero income, and I'm feeling like my faith is like 2 out of 10. And so when I collected, seriously, but when I saw all this evidence of these true stories of these professional people, my faith went up to like an 8 out of 10. And that's what actually enabled me to pay off my $50,000 in credit card debt literally in 2 years. It wasn't because I had 2 jobs or all that. It was because of the faith, right? Because of my self-talk, because of my belief that did it. And then we published the Kingdom Promise, leading Canadians choose faith to conquer the storms of life. Choosing faith to conquer the storms of life. And so for any of us right now, right, that if we're struggling, if we're being challenged by the economy, or the drop of the stock market, or maybe we're out of work, or our work situation is soft or not very stable. So it's a choice, right, for each of us. We get to choose.
Is that book available on Amazon by chance?
Yeah, I'm afraid not. I wish it was, but I'll put my contact info in later. Perfect. If they have interest, they can get there. It's $20 plus, $5 for mailing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Well, let people know if they want the book, because I think it looks pretty interesting book. I might want to get it. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'll definitely build your faith. Build anyone's faith, right? It's true stories of restoration, really. So that was so I started this. So I followed my heart, right, into fundraising. I found a charity I could start part-time, and that went well. And then I got hired full-time by a larger charity and worked in Alberta for a year, and that went extremely well. And then I'm kind of looking back and I'm thinking, this is very interesting. I followed my heart and it's been pretty successful, and successful outcomes. And so I started doing some research on this in terms of, well, what's the connection between passion and purpose and performance? And I found out they're all connected, right? They're all connected, and people can probably relate to that. Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely. So you're able to connect the dots then with the 3 Ps.
Yeah, 3 Ps. That's right. And my organization is called On Purpose People Perform, because that's it, right? When we're on purpose, we do perform. And some of you can relate to this. So for those who are listening, think of a time or the last time when you felt you felt inspired, energized, you were on track, you felt calm, confident, focused. Maybe it was a specific project, a work project, or a home project, or maybe it was regarding you were supporting some kind of cause or a community or family, whatever it was for you. So actually, just take a moment. Let's close our eyes for just a moment, and just revisit that time when you felt that way. I know for me, I was on the side of a mountain, the mountain we owned, mountain slope we owned in Fernie, BC, and I had a powerful experience that things were going to unfold perfectly when it was very, very challenging. And so I was totally inspired and focused. What about you? What was your time?
Actually, it was probably the first time I fixed my bike as a kid. It was just the accomplishment of actually reading a book and getting it changing my tire inner tube. I was like, oh my God, I can actually do this. But it's funny you brought up BC, because I used to live in BC for a few years too.
Oh, where did you live?
I lived in, you know where downtown Vancouver is? Like Commercial Drive. Yep, I lived around there for a while, and then I met my wife, and then we lived in Maple Ridge for about a year, and then we moved out to Ontario.
All right. Well, you're missing the mountains out here, I'm sure.
Yes, I went snowboarding every day.
I know. I love the mountains. That's why we had bought this land in Fernie, BC. The plan was to build there, and so on.
Yeah, it's a good area. Love it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, it's good. That's awesome. It's like a great place to be. Do you still have the land or no? Or
no, we actually sold it for. I made a number of decisions around it wasn't going to fit the sort of the future plan, and that's fine. So following our heart, right? And so, by the way, that was the decision I made buying this land because I had this profound knowingness experience in my every single cell of my body. I just knew we had to buy this land, before we bought it, and so I did. And it was a powerful learning experience, and we did okay financially when we sold the whole thing ultimately. But it's like, so I want to encourage everyone to follow your heart, right? And when we talk about the heart, and those who are online right now, maybe you can just enter into the chat there somewhere. What's that mean to you when you follow your heart? Well, what are we actually following?
So, like, would you say heart-centered type personality?
Well, yeah, I don't think I mean, it's easier if you're heart-centered. Like I guess I'm heart-centered, but I think, but if I use the terminology, the heart. So, what do you think the heart represents? Because it's a label for an essence of us.
Yeah, I think it's just like wholeness, purity. When you follow your heart, you're basically doing something that maybe you're unsure of, but you have the faith inside of you that you say, I know I got to do this. And you just have that faith built in because you're listening to the heart and you just follow it. Unquestionable. It's just like, you just do it. And people think, oh, you're crazy. Don't do that. That's like the dumbest thing ever. It's like, nope, there's something there. I got to do it. And you know what? In the end, it is the thing. Whatever that thing is doing, you got it. You know what I mean? Like, look at you. You found that one thing in your life. And it's like, yep, this is what I want. And here you are today. You got like a book.
And so that's it. Like following our heart. And if I was to paraphrase what you said, I would also add, you're following your intuition.
Yep.
You're following I actually believe that there's a calling on everyone's heart, like a calling, like your heart is drawing you in a certain direction. Your intuition, your spirit, your soul, your soul is drawing you in a certain direction through your life path, which I believe is ultimately our purpose.
For sure.
And so I'm believing also that when we follow our heart, we're following our purpose, even though we may not realize it.
At the moment, yeah, but in the end, you will see that reveal. Right.
Yeah, that's right. When we look back, right, we see how perfect things were. Like, and for most of us, what we're doing now is a composite of everything our life experiences in the past. They actually prepared us for what we're doing now or what we're about to be doing, to have
Yeah.
even more impact, to grow ourselves and grow our impact and influence in the world.
Yeah, it could be good or bad experiences, just all there for a reason we may not know at the time. Say, oh, this may suck today, but tomorrow is like, oh, hey, I did that because this, I need that certain power at the time. Because maybe it was a weakness within you that it's like, oh, this sucks. But then you got it, you switch your life around and it changes everything. Right.
Yeah, I mean, you had that experience, I think, to some degree.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
What do
And
you
so
do?
we're always learning, right? It's an attitude of continuous learning. Like every single day, encourage, and we probably, all of us probably are, but that in itself creates inspiration and passion when we're always learning. And if we can focus that learning towards a goal, an objective, a purpose that you have in mind, then literally, and the clearer your purpose, the greater the life you will live, the greater the impact you'll have, the greater you will live in this world, and the greater legacy that you will leave legacy you'll leave behind.
Or not. And what are you doing this weekend, Gary? I believe you have a
Well, it's actually next Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
Yeah, Thursday the 26th. So let me sort of continue with the story, because that's how we got here. So I'll just conclude. And so as I did this research, right, I realized that there's power in following the heart. And so then I just continue to follow my heart. And somewhere along the way, upon my heart was placed this deep passion, desire to help other people discover their purpose, just like I did, because it was fulfilling and inspiring, and what a great way to live your life. So my greatest passion now is to help other people discover their purpose and be fulfilled and have impact. And so over the years, we've probably 10 years now, I have created this proven 7-step process about how to get clarity upon your purpose and act upon your purpose. So this masterclass is the first part of that. It's a masterclass, right? So it's a really focused, the high level content, the sort of intensified focused content of getting clarity of our greatest passion and our purpose and our vision, and putting that into action. So what we call it the Power of Purpose Masterclass. And it's, we've had a number of clientele who've gotten tons of clarity. In fact, maybe I can just share a couple of slides. Is that okay, Curtis?
Yeah. Do some screen share. Let's check it out, Gary.
Yeah, just to, it'll be really more succinct that way.
Yeah.
So here we go. Just need to get myself oriented here.
Perfect.
Yeah, and so I'm going to start here, actually. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not doing the screen play, but you can see it with along the side, right?
Yep.
So we'll have to do with that for the moment. Sorry, because it seems to be frozen otherwise. Okay. So I actually, just one moment. Let me try something else. But as we're looking at the screen here, Viktor Frankl, right? So many of you heard of Viktor Frankl. Man's Search for Meaning was the book he authored. He was a German psychologist in a concentration camp during the war, and some horrendous challenges that he lived through, and he discerned a number of key things, which is in his book, Man's Search for Meaning. And one of the key statements that many of you have heard of is that everyone has their own specific mission in life to carry out, a concrete assignment which demands fulfillment. You cannot be replaced, nor can your life be repeated. Thus, everyone's task is as unique as their specific opportunity to implement it. And I firmly believe that each of us, as a creation of the Creator, most people call that Creator God. We can just call it Creator. Put whatever name you want to put on it. There's a purpose for everything in creation. That means you and you have a purpose here on the planet, and there's a seed of greatness within each one of us. Within you, there's a seed of greatness, which is most alive when we're on purpose, when we're focused, and so on. I love this quote here. There's no greater purpose in life than to know your life purpose.
Yeah.
And if you relate back to the time that you felt, inspired and so on, I think you can clearly see and feel, and you probably have in your life, that passion and purpose, clarity of passion and purpose, enables your personal power. It makes you feel powerful and effective, and you have greater influence as you communicate with passion and conviction. There's power here. There's power in passion and purpose. Who might concur? Is there power here?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And as Gandhi says, I love his quote, that purpose is the most powerful motivator in the world. Think of Gandhi, for example. Right? He was a motivated guy. There were some challenges in South Africa for a couple of decades, but he was on purpose. He had a purpose. He kept motivated and so on. So what we want to do, Rosa Lakaising and myself, who have developed this, the Power of Purpose Masterclass. So we are here to support you.
Yeah. I met Rosa at a few events in the past. She's an awesome lady. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Rosa's wonderful. She's so heartfelt, and I'm more mind head, and so we make a great combination, very complementary to really make it a holistic experience. And that experience is designed to help you level up, to give you greater clarity, confidence, commitment, and performance. We call it the CCP, right? That's our secret sauce, is clarity, confidence, commitment, and performance. And so when someone goes through, and I'll explain what this is, as are the clients have, and what you can expect also is clearly achieving greater clarity and that confidence, commitment of your passion, and also your vision and your purpose. And we'll guarantee that. We'll guarantee that, with a satisfaction guarantee, where we'll work with you with a couple more sessions until you get that clarity. Because when someone does the work, and you have to do the work, when someone does the work and the prepared workshops and the proven process, then you will get that clarity. And when you have that clarity and you're acting upon it, that's when you will experience what I've been talking about, right? This fulfillment and the power and growth of fulfilling and pursuing your purpose, and definitely increase performance. Yeah, I talked about that, right? Both personally, individual, your business, like where the passion and conviction comes from, and you can have much greater influence, right? When you're communicating with conviction and passion. I got to tell you, my corporate training business, I was, well, not to brag, I was totally passionate about it, and I was convicted, and the VPs bought, like majority of the time, they bought our programs because of my conviction and my confidence, right? So this is what this will do for you as well, or raise your level up. Yeah. And if you're not clear at all, then it'll reawaken that seed of greatness and that divine calling within you, that purpose which is buried deep within your heart, within your soul. And I see it as like buried treasure. Everyone has buried treasure, their purpose, and we just need to discover the treasure and then open it, the treasury of our subconscious mind, in essence, and we'll get clarity. We'll see what that purpose is for our life. And there's some key ways that we get around that, like closed eye visualization, because it gets around the ego mind, which wants to protect us and not reveal some of those truths. And we can tap into our intuition, our soul, our subconscious mind in a very spiritually safe way to get that clarity. And so people are getting incredible, profound insights, and some call them divine downloads. And they pursue that, and that becomes part of that clarity going forward that they have with passion and putting action behind it. And for some people, they certainly they reinvent themselves. One client in particular had a small sole proprietorship business, and they got this idea because they did these exercises, did the work, and they had a thinking big, right? Spoke like. Receiving a brand new vision, a big vision, that's the thinking big part, where they literally reinvented themselves, and they collaborated with other service providers on all the different sort of segments of their industry. So here they are. They can provide to now large clients because they can cover the spectrum of all those needs. And that's exactly what they've done. They've just landed and delivered some of their largest clients ever. So you can reinvent yourself, right? We can think big, but the clarity comes when you have that vision, and you see it, feel, and you believe in it. And so, what the program includes, this is our Power of Purpose Masterclass. It's two-hour sessions. First one starts next Thursday, May 26th, 7 to 9 p.m. And then the next one is 2 weeks later. So lots of time between the sessions. And again, 2 hours to wrap up, including also a 30-page participant manual with all the exercise and models and proven process in there. The self-reflection time between the two sessions for these deep insights, and two very, very powerful guided visualization sessions and recordings thereof. That's I talked about that, right? The power of that, of receiving that information, and then there's a 1 hour mentoring support coaching call between the sessions as well. So all this adds up to $638 value. And can you see the value in this? Yeah. Can you see there's a lot of value here?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so our regular investment is $297, but for those people who hear it through this program and sort of a member of your beacon of leadership, then a special price of $197 when they register before the 26th. And in a moment I'll put in chat those registration links and also discovery call. So yeah,
awesome, Gary. That sounds like a great program.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Excellent.
Yeah, it truly is. People love it. They get clarity. They get and they take action. They feel fulfilled. Oh, can I take 2 more minutes? Can I just share 1 or 2 testimonials, like success stories?
Please do. Yep.
Yeah. So this the gentleman on the right here, Mike Hine, he was the national sales manager. He was doing, I'm going to paraphrase here, but he was doing both like full time. He was doing both the national sales role and the national marketing role. It was way too much, right? He had to decide which one to pick. And so we went through this program, and he got clarity in what was the greatest, passion for him, and he chose the national sales role, and it turned out to be a really good choice. He reduced his stress, but also in that first year, they were up 22% year to date under his leadership.
Wow.
So that's the key, right? When we focus on our priorities, we increase our performance. And another lady, more of the humanitarian side, she's a lawyer in Hamilton, Lorna George. I'm just going to read actually her testimony here. Accelerated and strengthened. So the workshop helped me to crystallize my desire to empower Black women. She's a Black woman through home ownership, having their own home, not renting for the first time, and academics, education, into her purpose with passion. And empowering Black women was on her heart. She was always afraid to verbalize it for fear of criticism. So in the workshop, she was able to verbalize for the very first time this calling, this purpose, and she got clarity and confidence and conviction on this to empower Black women, and that has really accelerated her and strengthened her. So now she has some aggressive purpose goals for this year, and she says she's grateful to me for the wisdom and the follow-up support that she says that I know that Gary believes in me and my purpose. I totally do. You know what? When she begins to fulfill this, even for the first home for a Black woman, that woman's kids and family and generation is going to be different. It will be transformed in many, many ways, right? Having your own home and not renting, and probably a higher quality of life and so on. So Lorna is going to have impact in the world, at least with these people that she's helping, right? And that's true for all of us, right? So the universe, the God is, and the world needs you and I to show up, to deliver our giftings and our talents, to be on purpose, to have impact, to have influence, and make a great income as well, right? It's all part of the package, right? When we have impact and when we're on purpose. And so just to wrap up on this point, then I'm gonna put in the what's that?
Do you drop your link in the chat there?
Yes, I will. So the first opportunity is, for someone wants to learn more about this or have a bit of a clarity call, discovery call, absolutely, we can do that for 30 minutes. I'll put that link in the chat here right now. And also, if you want to learn more about the Power of Purpose Masterclass starting this coming Thursday, the 26th, then go to the link here.
Okay.
Masterclass. And all the information is there. So I will put this in the link here as well. So yeah, please book a time with me on the Calendly link there, and it'll be enlightening for you. And I just want to add value and help people get on purpose, be fulfilled and have an impact. So looking forward to talking with you and being of service.
Thanks, Gary. Do you have the link on your slideshow by chance? Maybe we can view it that are watching on YouTube.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. Let me stop this
Just
here.
in case they are watching, some people will watch, some people are listening. But we'll put up the links in the YouTube later. We'll put in the description for Gary's course and the discovery call for our listeners and watchers. I guess some people are watching, some people listen.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
did you want me to put the PowerPoint back up?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. One moment here. Okay. It's also in the chat with the 2 URLs.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay.
Let's put it on the screen quickly and we'll let people see that.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Okay, Gary, that's about the end of our time for today.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you being here, guys, Gary, and I hope the listeners and people who are watching enjoyed that too. Let's be on purpose and let's have better performance by following our hearts and doing a great job for sure.
Thank you, Curtis. I'm sorry, say again.
Do you have any other closing words before we?
Yeah, well, I want to thank you and RJ and the great work you guys are doing at Beacon of Leadership. And my closing comment would be, just every moment we can choose faith over fear. So let's choose faith over fear and follow your heart. Take the risk, have courage, and follow your heart. It's always the best decision. So look forward to talking soon.
Even though you might get over the fear and do it. Awesome. Thanks, Gary. Have a great night. And enjoy your long weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you. All right, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you. RJ back? Or who stopped the recording? Oh, the YouTube's still live, though.